So we have a little bit of time, 1 more minute, 1 to 2 minutes before I would like to start. I hope you appreciate the last talk. I find it very interesting and very helpful, having different point of views, a little bit gender specific. It's always a very interesting story in our tech arena. Okay, I would like to share my screen with you so we can proceed a little bit with my talk I prepare for you. So we go for the presentation, and now you should see my screen. Oops, there is something, sorry, overlaid. Oops, give me a minute. Zoom itself. Okay, a bit of time. Would like to talk about DevOps and SAFe. So hope that this leads to faster customer value, especially the combination. And that will be the topic I talk the next half an hour. So I think because it's easy switching within the conference from talk to talk, I hope the most people which are interested in that topic are in. And so my name is Kurt Jäger. I'm coming from Germany. So this is a little bit what I am. I'm a physicist by nature. So I do I'm experimental physicist. So if in the world of VUCA, it's very helpful doing experiments. If you don't know, make an experiment. So I'm doing software development since more than 40 years. You see gray hairs, 20 years with Agile and Lean. So that's, could say, the maximum for Agile you can have. I just walked with Ken Schwaber through Germany. And so I do it. But the last 10 years, I was just a storyteller. So, and you see a little bit, I'm Agile management coach, you could name it this way. And I'm working for companies like Deutsche Bank, Deutsche Bahn, BMW, you see Société Générale or Bosch or the CompuGroup Medical, Software AG, so generally Audi, Porsche, VW, Conti, Bosch, Siemens. So it's cross, you could say it's cross business. And in Germany in the moment, there's a lot of hype in the automotive arena. As you can mention, there's Tesla and there's a lot of pressure, time to market pressure from that arena. Okay. And what you also see, I'm on the way with Agile programs, Agile transitions, and especially Scale Agile. You see that a little bit. There comes the acronym of SAFe, so Scale Agile Framework. And so, yes, this is a little bit what I would like to talk. I would like to combine DevOps with SAFe, and let's have a look what it could be. First of all, problem to solve, right? So this is not brand new. This is just not new for you. So you have development on one side, operations on the other side. So the one say the business needs more features right now, right? This is time to market pressure, and so let's go faster, let's have a faster lead time. And then on the other side is no, be careful, let's lower, we need stability, you damage our operations, you damage our production. So development is constantly breaking that. And so the question is how we can work together and how to avoid opposing goals. This is not new for you, but I think what is maybe new is building the combination, the eclecticism of SAFe and DevOps for this thing. So again, traditionally, there was walls of confusion. We have silos. We have silos in huge enterprises. You find them. In Germany, you find them. I'm pretty sure there's also possible to find them in Spain or in the whole Europe. So we have the business on one side, we have the development on the other side, and we have operations. And so Agile, we start using Agile for removing that walls between business and developments more and more. We have product owners coming out of the business. We think about business agility. We even have lean or agile teams now in the business. We have marketing teams. We have even legal teams, which are organized in the agile way. And on the other side, we have the development and operations. And for sure, we want to deliver value to the customer. To do that, operations and development have to optimize the flow of value for the customers, for the business continuously. And again, for that, we think about DevOps. Okay, that's not only think, I mean, that's what we do, right? There is the DevOps handbook. And this is a lot of stories regarding to how we can remove that. Again, stay a little bit in the problem arena. Why is it a problem? And it's important to understand why, because the why defines the expectations. The problem is everybody is working, right? No, that's fine. We want to move, but we're not aligned, right? We move in different directions, and the different directions means the total velocity, the dynamic, if you see that the impulse as a physicist is zero or is small, right? That's a problem. So different groups in the organization have different goals and directions. If you look for the line management for these big silos we find in huge enterprises, the lack of alignment means that their different efforts cancel each other out, right? This creates feeling of constant work with little or no progress. So it's always finger pointing. It's not a we, it's they, right? It's always they. What we need is a we, right? So building alignment is a critical goal of DevOps. Sure, it's not new, right? So who is DevOps? Or you could do it a little bit more sophisticated. Sure, there is Dev and Ops, but there is also DevSecOps, right? Or DevOps Biz. If you need legal, if you need the business within your development value streams, it is a combination, right? So it's not only DevOps. It's a combination to have colorful, let's say it, feature teams, cross-functional teams, value streamed aligned teams, all the same game. Purpose is to deliver small chunks of value faster. Right? But delivering means deploying into production. Okay, so working together for speed and stability, together, same goal, like a soccer game, right? So you have your defenders, you have your goalkeeper, you have the people who make the goals, and you have the midfield players. This is very special roles, right? But you need to have them working together. Not new. I'm not telling new things. What I want to say is we have to do it, right? So DevOps benefits, sure. Teams with high DevOps maturity have significantly faster flow and higher solution quality than those that are not, right? And what does it mean? It means a faster lead time of a factor of 3, factor of 10, factor of 100. Faster lead time. Is lead time a KPI in your enterprise? Do you measure it? If you don't measure it, you don't optimize for, right? Do you optimize for effectiveness or for efficiency? And that's a difference. It's a big difference. We optimize for efficiency for 40 years. Taylorism. DevOps is the anti-pattern for Taylorism. You automate things instead of describe. Okay, so why? Why it's so important? If you look for value streams, and that's also a very important pattern. If you look for value streams, if you come from the lean approach, then values occurs only when the end users can operate with a solution. That DevOps is within the value stream. You need DevOps. It's not optional, right? So you're from trigger to value, from the idea to the new feature, from the order to cache. You want to measure and optimize the lead time. Iteratively, incremental delivery. Iteratively, fine. Incrementally, you do DevOps, You put a 0.1% new functionality in your system. And the behavior, the situations you have to look for the 99.9% of the existing functionality and how this change will influence this. This is not trivial. You can do that only by experiment in that word. It is not predictable. You have to measure it. You have to do an experiment. That's DevOps. You have test automation. So DevOps isn't optional. The only question is how efficient it is, right? How efficient our lead time is. How much effect we can generate with that into our business. Okay, DevOps challenges, lack of test building and deployment automation. We all know that. Production defects not caught due to mismatched environments. Very bad. Right, there is development network, value stream network analysis, where the first thing you do is check how many systems you have to manage your process. Yes, you have a Jira, you have other build systems. So a lot of a network of these things, complex things. So reduce that, right? Not for costs, but for speed, for simpleness, right? So large batches, right, of changes are pushed to production. You can have a very nice system. If it's a large batch, does it help? No. You need small batches. For small batches, for sure, you need cheap systems to process your change to development. Sure, that's DevOps. That's what you implement with DevOps. Right? But if you just implement that in DevOps and have nevertheless large batches because of your planning process, that's stupid. It gives you not back your money. Okay. So lack of communication about end user problems and needs from operation to development, right? You need shift left. You need fast testing. Right? If you look for the automotive industry, they do crash tests, right? If you look for the German automotive industry, they do the crash tests with the cars at the end. You know what Tesla is doing? They crash the tires, they crash the chassis, they take the seats, they crash everything against the wall. They even crash models against the wall to have a shift left measurement very early and to measure parameters they can use, physical parameters they can use much earlier, and they learn from that. Right? And they do it by their own. They not deliver it to suppliers and say, do my crash test. You cannot learn. Your supplier learns, not you. So again, even you need, if you have suppliers, you need a DevOps integration platform where you integrate all your suppliers continuously. Yeah. And where we are coming from, lack of trust between development and operations causes delays in value delivery. That's what we find in huge enterprises a lot. It's just cost optimized, but not value and not speed. So, okay, DevOps implementation in SAFe. Let's have a look. What could be something like a solution? So SAFe, you see that big picture is, I mean, you could say it's awful complex. Yes, it is not. It's similar. Each level is the same. 3 roles, backlog, Kanban, iterations. 3 roles, backlog, Kanban, iterations. 3 roles, backlog, Kanban, iterations. 3 roles, backlog, Kanban, iteration. First pattern the same. So SAFe helps bridge the gap between Agile and DevOps. So that's the idea. SAFe for lean enterprises is a knowledge base of proven, and that's interesting. It is real knowledge. It's not theory, right? That's experimental knowledge going into that system. Proven integrated principles. It's important, not reading only books, hundreds of books. I have them, but you not have to read them. Practices and competencies for achieving business agility by implementing lean, agile, and DevOps at scale. So you combine, it's an eclecticism, right? We would like to use DevOps, not would like, we do. And it's very similar to use Agile, use Scrum. I mean, if you want to scale Agile with Scrum, use a good Scrum. If you have a good Scrum, you can scale it. If you have a shitty Scrum, don't scale it. It smells even more, right? So the building blocks have to be good quality. And that's also true for the DevOps pipeline. And this is a little bit what we talk about. If you see this big picture, you see here the red, some red areas where DevOps plays a role. For sure, it's a team and technical agility competence, which is interesting. Who can build in bugs? The developers. Who else, right? Who can build a product? It is in this situation where not one team is building a whole product, but a 10. Then the integration of the work of the 10 teams building one huge product is very critical. That's what you see in Nexus, for example, right? It is just the integration is very, very critical. If you need 100 people building one product. And so what you need is a very good integration factory. Okay, coming back to what? DevOps, right? And you see it very much here in the center. You see the continuous delivery pipeline. You see infinity loops here. You see even infinity loops here within sprints, within iterations. So no waterfall at all. You want to have a full infinity loop, each sprint, each iteration, right? So, and sure, then we talk about DevOps optimizations, finding within, for example, with value stream mapping, finding bottlenecks where you wait, where you not have continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay, and sure, you need a built-in quality. Right? You need XP practices to do it the right way, to be fast. Right? And then maybe there is a system team which helps you, a system team which helps you a little bit by building up that integration pipeline. Right? Why not? Or you have lean UX, or you have even KPIs, for example, lead time per feature, or whatever you want to measure. And in SAFe, this is an engine, you could say, which you need per train, per 100 people building a product. It's very often a per product situation. If you integrate products, if we think about an airplane, right, you need that also for the solution. You need that not only for the pieces, not only for the seats of an airplane or for the engine of an airplane or the cockpit. Each of them is maybe one train, but you need it also for the integration of the whole airplane. If you look for Saab military airplanes, they have Scrum. Every 2 weeks in a hangar, they build an airplane, a real airplane. And for sure it's possible. And for sure you need, for something like this, you need a continuous delivery pipeline, not only for software, but for both software and hardware. Okay, so how it looks like, a little bit in detail, right? The continuous delivery pipeline accelerates flow of value. That's the purpose. And you see in SAFe, we see it a little bit more general than not only the continuous integration, continuous deployment, but we also see continuous exploration. Why that? Because if your requirements engineering, right, is coming in big chunks, you have big batches. So what you need is you need a continuous inflow of your requirements through your system. You need a Kanban board, right, with WIP limits. And for sure, what we very often do is we overlay this picture here, this technical implementation you do by Dogger, however you build your process technically, we represent with a Kanban board where you can measure the flow of tickets, the flow of bugs, the flow of features, the flow of user stories, the flow of value. And you have to estimate the value of a feature or the value of a user story to measure the flow of value. Okay, so we think about a continuous exploration, continuous integration, and continuous deployment. And what we say here, continuous deployment, we mean deployment into production. And we decouple this from release. So a release is just a switch on in production. Nothing else. There's no deployment for a release anymore, right? So SAFe, goal, target, where we want to go, something like this. maybe in the start situation, it's not a prerequisite, right? Maybe in the start position, you're coming from another starting point. You have releases a quarter, or you have releases every 2 weeks, something like that. We say, no, you release whenever you like. You deploy when the feature is done automatically. Okay. So this is one aspect. And now I would like to address another aspect a little bit. So because in SAFe, we also call something like a Kalmar approach in DevOps. It's if you come from the DevOps community, there's a very, very similar approach, because it's not only technique, right? So it has, in SAFe, you say DevOps implementation has these 5 aspects. It's a cultural aspect, it's an automation aspect, it's a lean flow aspect. I want to measure, I want to align, and I want to limit, right? Limit the flow of objects. It's only one ball in the game and not a 20. Right? And we want to measure everything. We want to measure even production. In the development, we want to see how production is behaving. Because if you do Scrum-bound, if you have a development team, if you have no projects anymore, if you have products, right? Mid-custom, moving from projects to products, then it makes totally sense that a development team not only project-wise develops something, throws all over the wall, but continuously maintain the product, the code, the product they built. Maintaining means fixing bugs, eat your own dog food, or enjoy your own champagne, depending on the quality, how you build in the product, right? So for that, you have to recognize in the morning, the daily, you have to say, okay, how's production today? Okay, answer time is a plus 3%. That's fine. Right? If it's a plus 20, you could ask, and you should ask yourself, do you slow down the system by just deploying something in production yesterday? Okay. Then recovery. Again, there's a lot of methods to do that. We know there's blue-green field approaches, whatever, right? So if we go through this 5 dimensions, and I would finalize that in the last 9 minutes with that, you should, and SAFe insists, you should have a look to adopting the culture of shared responsibility of development, deployment, and operations. So if you look for the whole operations department, maybe you not need a whole operations department, but there is something like application management, for example, and it would make totally sense to move the people from application management into your train, into your agile teams, so that the teams are autonomous even to deploy something in production. If you need a 4I principle, okay, why not? You have a person from operations reporting to the old line management, no problem at all. So you let the line management as it is, but you have a process management, you have your dynamic, your Ablauf organization. Sorry for that, my English is very bad. So you use that with people from operations. Why not? And maybe you should think a little bit about which people you combine here, right? Please do not use the most aggressive developer with the most conservative ops people. Don't do that. It will not work. I try it sometimes and it will not work. But there's more clever ways, right? So tolerate failure and rapid recovery. Also, it is a very good KPI is not the error rate. It's not the amount of errors. That's stupid. No, you do experiments, right? So you got a result. And then you analyze the result and say, this is a good result, this is a bad result. I wish to have this, I not want to have this. Now, a good measure is how long it takes to decide, is it good or bad? And how can I bring the system back to the good situation? So how long that takes. If your building system gives you a red build, then does it take a week? Take a day? Take an hour? Take 30 seconds to come back to green? And this is a very good measure. This is a very good measure to understand where you are in your DevOps optimization. And everybody in the train, every team can see it, right? And So share discoveries, practices, tools, learning across silos, and sharing means transparency. So there is no blaming for failure. There is maybe a blaming for not asking if you need help. Even this, you should not have. Blaming is the wrong word, but you need to have transparency. If you look for agile, if you look for safe, that this is what they say. It's needed, right? So yeah, culture, right? It's not easy. You need your scrum masters, you need your release train engineer to help in that issues, how to come to a common culture. Automation, I talked about that earlier a bit. So manual steps reduce quality and slow delivery, both. You can have a better quality and be faster. And that's important, better quality and faster. Right? Automate as much of this continuous delivery pipeline as possible with an integrated tool chain. And again, an integrated tool chain. So if you have the chance to have, I know I'm stupid. I'm not a technical guy. If you use something like Docker, if you use something like Jira, and you can combine your description of your requirements with the automated tests you have, with your cucumber testing, and you have a requirement, a user story, blah, 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 wants this because of blah, acceptance criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you be able to have Verwehren in front of this acceptance criteria. Yes, you say there's red, yellow, and green, and that means there is an automated acceptance test in your continuous integration pipeline, which is red, yellow, or green, and you have that for your acceptance criteria. This is cool. This is what you want to have, an integrated tool chain, right? You even can deliver. Every night, if you like, every night you can have a protocol, and you can deliver this protocol together with your product, any version you build, to the FDA and say, this is our product, this is our requirements, and the requirements fit to a percentage of blah, 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 blah to the real product. So do not document anything anymore. Write automated tests for it, and this is your documentation, and then protocol the run result of the tests with the product. Put that in your Git, have feature branches, have tests with the feature branches checked in. That's what you want, right? This is what you should think of. There's maybe more modern versions. That's okay. I'm a great. It's just examples. I tell you how it could work. Automated healthy process. If the underlying process is broken, fix it before automating it. This is a little bit what we find very often, that if you have a shitty process, don't automate it, right? Think twice and then automate it. So lean flow, identify bottlenecks to the flow of value. That's important. I told you. Decrease the batch size of work. Again, manage and reduce queue length. Yeah, all three help. It's flow optimization, nothing else. It's lean flow, right? So measurement, collecting data on business applications, infrastructure, and client layers. So have measuring data, real-time data, to show you how your system you build behaves. And if it's a satellite, then it's satellite data, right? Collect data about the deployment pipeline, sure. Along the whole pipeline, you can have measure points. Maintain different telemetries for different stakeholders, maybe, right? Depends. So broadcast measurements, also interesting, right? Broadcast them, right? So continuously improve telemetry during and after problem solving, right? So there is very, very nice ideas what you can do. Okay, recovery. And again, that's not new. It only tells you adopt the stop line mentality, right? Have switch on, switch off situations, have blue, green systems where you have cold standby, and a cold standby you can test and you can implement. And if you want to activate it, just shut down, shut up. That's it, right? And so plan for failure and rehearse failures. Sure. Have a chaos monkey. That's also not new, right? And build the environment for rollback and fix forward. That's it so far, right? So that is the idea. So, and this is more or less the end of my small story, SAFe and DevOps. And now only some final words. I think SAFe implementation on DevOps talk at DevOps Cloud Days in 2020. It's like a little bit carry overs to Athens, isn't it? And okay, I would say yes. And but my question to you, and maybe we can focus on that a little bit later in the second room. Feels it like Dev SAFe Ops, and SAFe is a new wall between Dev and Ops, or is it SAFe Dev Ops, and SAFe is green, and it's an accelerator for you, and it's a chance for you to say, if we have to scale, and it's a built-in method, a built-in even culture. It's a culture, and you make the best out of it. And doesn't this help us? And so that's it for me. And I can give you in the chat, I think, my the room where we can communicate. Give me a second. I just copy this, Control Z. And we go to, I stop sharing, we go to the chat, and I can copy that to the chat. And if you like, we can continue talking a little bit about this topic in this specific room. And I thank you very much for your attention, for your time, and hope to see one or two of you in this room. Okay, bye-bye. Have a very, very nice DevOps Cloud conference, and maybe we see us somehow around the world. Bye-bye.